Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dota matchup. This is another match from the Dreamhack Summer 2013 edition. This is the semifinals between EG and Quantic, game number one of a best of three series. Loser goes home, winner moves on to the grand finals to take on potentially either Alliance or Dignitas in a best of three series. And I know at this point these matches are a little bit dated. I mean, they're not even a week old, but a week is eternity in Dota time. So hopefully you'll forgive some of the lateness, but I've had some troubles, and the camera control might not be as best I possibly can get just because I am basically casting with one arm. My other arm is in a sling at the moment because of surgery. But I did say at the beginning I'll try to cast every single DreamHack Summer match in the playoffs bracket, and so far I've kept true to that word. So even though I might pepper in some Raid Call Dota League matches here and there, because those matches are a bit more recent and some of those matches are really exciting, I will try to finish these playoff matches as fast as I possibly can get. And I mean, there aren't that many matches left. I've already casted a shit ton, so hope you can keep supporting me and keep sticking with me as I try my best to bring you all of this playoff coverage. And I guess I don't really have to slow down in terms of Dota casting. We'll be able to do at least one a day, and hopefully I can get some different types of content out to you relatively soon. I am planning to record a Arc Warden video and maybe start working on some other projects as well, but no promises at that point. But yeah, Quantic versus EG. EG, they desperately want to try to win this tournament because keep in mind they did not manage to qualify for TI3, so they definitely have a chip on their shoulder to say the least. And now they've placed in the money, but still, I've got to imagine they want to do a lot better. You know, Quantic, they have just been looking really strong to say the least. I mean, their drafting style is definitely flamboyant, I guess would be not really the best word, but that's the word that came to my mind as fast as possible because Goldblack has definitely put his mark on this team. Keep in mind, Goldblack on Empire was the captain who popularized Undying, Bane, and even Treant Protector before Empire did eventually split up. And now, with the Goldblack being on Quantic, he has definitely put his mark on this tournament, picking up all sorts of weird heroes, whether it be Viper or Outworld Devourer. I mean, he has really shown that he is a very smart player, and his drafts have carried him all the way towards the semifinals. But right now, Quantic banned out the standard Wisp barrier since EG did have the first choice. EG banned out the Gyrocopter as well as Treant because Quantic are probably the best team in the world at the moment who will utilize Treant to its full potential. I mean, they have just really strong Treant strategies in general. Meanwhile, EG gonna pick up the Lone Druid. We're gonna have to see how this Lone Druid is played. I mean, I think the Lone Druid player on the side of EG is usually Jail, and I'm pretty sure Bambo likes more of those aggressive heroes. Meanwhile, Jail is a bit of a more stable, safer player, although he's not really as prone to make those big plays like Sexy Bambo or Demon can potentially make. But yeah, Lone Druid in the offlane, not really as powerful as he used to be, just because if you kill the bear, you give up so much gold. I mean, you could potentially give away a Flying Curve upgrade and a Clarity, or close to a Smoke to Sea, and that can really help the sorts of Quantic. But the Bane choice will be the opening for Quantic. We're going to see how they back it up, as Bane is a really strong option against Lone Druid. Keep in mind you can enfeeble the bear, and the bear not being as tanky as it used to be because of the armlet nerf. I mean, even if he does build into the range, the enfeeble, even at level 2, will negate the majority of the bear's DPS, and keep in mind it can't tank nearly as much as it used to because of the armor, and bear's not in general building that armlet anymore. Quantic also picking up the Leicester, so they're going to get a strong trial carry, and this is a very typical trial or aggressive trial opening for Quantic, as Bane Leicester definitely synergizes very well. You have the Nightmare, and the Nightmare will set up the lower range of opens a lot more easily, and you can also Nightmare somebody else if they try to help out the ally that Leicester is open woundsing potentially. And Leicester does he does okay against Lone Druid, even though Lone Druid does have a high armor value in tree form. Leicester, he's not really going to get bursted down that easily, and you can rage through entangles that the bear does manage to get. So we're going to see how EG responds. They're likely going to pick up a support, and the support that they've been going to quite heavily in this tournament has been Keeper of the Light. So we're going to see if they pick up the Keeper of the Light here, but that might give away a strategy of EG that they might not be so keen on giving at this moment, because if they do decide to pick up Keeper of the Light, yeah, it'll be a strong defensive Trine versus Trine option, but it might give away that they're trying to push in quite hard, and Quantic will likely ban out pushing heroes as a response, as EG will indeed pick up Keeper of the Light. So expect Quantic to ban out heroes. Well, Beatus is usually the Keeper of the Light player, and I've never seen Fear. And yeah, Quantic, they're going to ban pushing heroes like the Juggernaut. And what other pushing heroes? Maybe the Lycanthrope? I mean, EG did run the Zoo strategy up against Virtus Pro, but I think Bane and Leicester do a bit better because he can enfeeble the Lycanthrope and Fiendscript the Bear, or some other combination of that, or Nightmare one and Enfeeble the other, and then Fiendscript another one. So I think Bane does put a hamper quite a bit in terms of the Zoo strategy. And I don't know if EG do want to toy with Lycanthrope in this game. I mean, it's always difficult to say, but expect Quantic to ban a lot of strong pushers because Lone Druid and Keep the Light are pretty powerful in terms of pushing, and Lone Druid doesn't really want to go as late as he used to just because he will give up a lot of gold if the bear does repeatedly die over and over again. But Lone Druid is still a very common in Heroes. EG gonna ban out the Queen of Pain, so I mean, they don't have the first pickup after the second ban phase ends, so they'll leave Quantic to get a pretty powerful mid-solo option. Maybe this is sort of a bait to say, alright, Quantic, pick up the puck so we can get something like a hero that does well against puck. Who's a hero that does well? TA does pretty well against puck, but I mean, those would be some pretty intense mind games that I think Goldbach can spot a mile away, as Quantic gonna ban out the Warlock, a very smart option since EG has some heroes that can potentially 5-man. Warlock is the king of 5-man Dota, and Quantic don't have the split pushers with their first two openings to really counter, or to really split push and counter Warlock, because the best way to counter Warlock is just to split push and get an item as well as a gold advantage, because the Warlock ultimate has such a long cooldown that you can really just do a lot during the time that it is down. You know, EG bang out the Darkseer, so it seems like EG are going to put Lone Druid in the off-lane position, and we're going to have to see how Quantic decide to respond to this. And right now, Quantic, what they need is another support. They're going to pick up Puck, and I expect EG to pick up the TA for Demon, since Demon does like playing the TA quite a bit, and TA in general does do very well against Puck. I mean, Puck does have a slight advantage in the early levels because he has better range, as well as the Refraction doesn't have as many instances, but once TA hits level 3 and level 5, those Refractions will do quite a number on the Puck in terms of getting a nice low advantage as well as a nice last hit advantage. But Puck does do very well against Keeper of the Light, although doesn't do that well against Lone Druid, so I'm not too sure about this Puck choice. We're going to see how Quantic responds. And it really depends. This next choice will decide whether Quantic will go aggressive with their Tron or if they're going to go defensive. And I think Quantic want to go aggressive with their Tron, so we'll see if they pick up a safe lane farmer. Gyrocopter has been banned out. Maybe they're going to go for something like a Weaver? I'm not too sure. Weaver is pretty strong in a 1v1 matchup, but against Lone Druid, that might not be the best option. They're going to pick up Outworld Devourer, so keep in mind, this is one of the trademark heroes for Quantic these days. I mean, it's more potent when it's paired with something like a Treant Protector, because Outworld Devourer's main weakness is being ganked, and with a Treant living armor on him, he is just impossible to gank. But this is actually a pretty clever way for Quantic to go about this draft. Now they're definitely going to go aggressive. OD will be in the mid lane going against TA, and TA is so mana dependent that those Astral Imprisonments will just render her somewhat useless, and she can't really cast Refraction as freely, even with Balcro, because the Refraction costs 100 mana. TA herself does not have the best mana pool to sort of cope with it. And Puck against Lone Druid, Puck should be able to escape quite easily against Lone Druid, even if he should get entangled. Of course, he might not be able to harass Lone Druid out of the lane, but he will be able to survive, and surviving is all that Puck really needs to do. If he gets some farm, if he manages to get something like a Treads into a dagger, that's just gravy, but still, Puck is probably one of the best heroes to go up against Lone Druid in 1v1 matchup, just because Lone Druid dominates most 1v1 matchups in general, but Puck is one of the few heroes who can escape from most terrible situations with his orb, as well as his phase shift, so I really like Quantic Gaming's draft thus far, as EG going to fortify their support backline with a Rubik choice, and this is a very, very defensive-natured EG lane at the moment. I'm not too sure if I like it that much. I mean, they will always be able to steal Fiend Script, and they will always apply it to Leicester. They can probably steal a pretty strong Puck spell, and they might be able to steal something like Sandy's Eclipse or Astral Imprisonment, but I think this Rubik choice is just to counter the Bane as well as Lifestealer, but I think what you have to be worried about is the OD choice in the middle lane. And with the Keeper of the Light, they can't really gank the OD that successfully, since Keeper of the Light is just not a strong ganker in general, doesn't have any sort of slow or really any way to keep OD locked down. As excuse my voice, some problems with the surgery is that in order to keep you breathing, they stick a tube down your throat that delivers oxygen, so my voice is still a bit croaky. Speaking of croaky, well, I guess not croaky, but just Spider Rubik. I was like, oh, croaky Rubik, her. I'm sorry, I'm still a bit delirious. Anyway, Quantic, they're going to bat the Naga Siren, so they want to... Well, Naga Siren in general does do very well against Lifestealer because Rage I mean, you can net through rage as Quantic gonna pick up the Chen. I'm struggling for words a little bit because there's so many things I want to talk about, but Quantic gonna pick up the Chen, and this will look to be maybe this will be an aggressive trial in Chen. I've got to believe. I mean, they could potentially put Puck in the offlane position, but I don't imagine Puck will get too much farm against a Rubik as well as keep the light combination. And EG, they're gonna have to pick up their hard carry. We're gonna have to see what they decide to go with here, as I don't imagine Lone Druid will be safe lane under any circumstances. They're going to choose the Broodmother, so maybe this will be a safe lane Lone Druid and off lane Broodmother. I'm not too sure what role Broodmother plays in this game, as Broodmother is a very strong pusher, and Quantic, I guess one thing that's going against them is that they don't have that strong anti-push ability. So that might be why EG did decide to go for the Broodmother with this option, but how are they going to actually lane this? I guess they're going to put Lone Druid in the safe lane, Bambo in the off lane, and try to deal with whoever he's up against that way, but still, I don't know, Broodmother is a bit of a risky choice since if you give too many Spiderlings, you could potentially just feed the other team to great ends, I suppose. And Demon in the mid lane will just not have a good time up against Outworld Devourer, so EG, they have a pretty greedy draft in my opinion. Meanwhile, Quantic have a lot of versatility on their heroes. They have Buck with some silence, they have Lifesteal and OOD with a lot of DPS, and they have Bane with crowd control. They have Chen with healing in the backline, so I'm liking Quantic's draft just a bit more. It's a bit more versatile. And meanwhile, EG, I feel like if they don't really get the early push mid-game action going, they're going to really fall off the face of the earth once the game does approach that 30-minute mark. So EG, they're going to have to win before then, and we're going to have to see if this lineup will allow them to do just that.
Prepare for battle.
You know, introducing the players and teams, we're going to have Fear playing the Rubik. Jo is going to be handling that Lone Druid. Demon is going to be taking care of that Templar Assassin Bambo. We'll be playing the Broodmother. Beat is going to be playing his trademark Keep It Light Meal on the side of Quantic. We're going to have Goblak playing the Chen. Funzy is playing the Outworld Devourer. Sakshka is going to be playing the Puck. Fucking Mad is going to be playing the Bane Elemental. And Silent will be taking care of the Lifestealer. So let's just see how the lane shape up. It looks like Sakshka is actually going to go in the offlane position, so it will be a defensive trial with Lifestealer. And I thought for sure before the Chen was picked up that Quantic would go offensively, but I guess pushing into a Keeper Light as well as Urbic might not be the best decision, so they decided to go for Chen, play a bit more safe. And I think Quantic do have the late game advantage since Broodmother does fall off quite hard in late game if he doesn't get off to a good start, and Lone Druid can be dealt with a little bit more easily, especially when you have Bane on your side. You can really reduce the bear's DPS by a significant margin. Meanwhile, Funzy will probably go into the mid lane, and Jo is going to be matched up against the Outworld Devourer. I think Lone Druid is one of the few heroes who can contest Outworld Devourer since he has two heroes who can potentially last hit, and he doesn't really sort of mind being asked in prison since what does Bear actually use mana for? He uses it for Rabid, but that's pretty much it. So a good laning adjustment by EG will give them a bit of an easier matchup. I think they realized that TA would have gotten slammed in the mid lane, so instead they're going to safe lane farm the TA. I like this decision a lot more by EG, but meanwhile, it's going to be difficult to say if Bambo will have a good time in this lane. Bane, as well as Lifestealer, can potentially lock down Broodmother for quite a long time, and with the Chen they can have a lot of ways to kill off the Broodmother, but Bambo is a long-time Broodmother player, one of the best European Broodmothers in general, so we're going to have to see how this lane decides to shape up, but just because of this lane switch, I think EG have a much better shot in this game than if they were to lane the Templar Assassin mid.
The battle begins.
Fucking Mad has some Sentry Wards, so just to spot the Broodmother. Looks like Silent with some Tangos as well as a Killing Blade, just trying to farm, trying to not miss any last hits. Even pro players miss a last hit here and there, but Silent with this Killing Blade should not miss any last hits whatsoever. I mean, Chen just going to defensively jungle as much as possible as Bambo in danger already has a ward up against him. He has his own Sentry Wards to counter these Sentry Wards, but still he doesn't want to venture up too close towards the Bane Elemental. Should have get Nightmared, and he's already placed both of his webs, and he's going to pop his second web right here. You can see he really does not want to de-ward the Sentry Ward immediately until the Bane Elemental drops his other Sentry Ward.
Look to your own. Yours.
Yeah, OD, you're going to have a bit more difficult of a time up against Lone Druid because, again, two heroes are usually better than one in most scenarios. I guess if you're a Meepo, it might not be always the case, as another pause does come through. But Jo should have a pretty solid time, as, again, Bear doesn't need that much mana. It looks like Funzy was pulled a lot of regeneration, so that'll allow him to be a bit more aggressive. But the Lone Druid Spirit Bear can do quite a number in terms of harassing Golbak back once he picks up the Orb Venom. And with a Rubik on the side, with Fear rotating himself in, and with him having Smoker to See, they could potentially set up a gank if Cupidlight does manage to rotate himself in. But I think Betas really likes to farm up on Cupidlight and try to get those early levels going ASAP. So I don't know if EG will go for that early smoke gank, but it's definitely a possibility, and that's a possibility that Quantic will have to be careful of. You know, Sakshika on the bottom lane, with Fear currently rotating, is just going to play passively. You can see Quantic don't really have any defensive wards protecting their offlaner. Instead, they only have one ward protecting their shrine, and Bane has not even placed a second ward. They only have one ward to spot the rune, just to see if it spawns on the top lane. But they have Chen creeps to potentially spot out any other sort of ganks. One thing that could potentially be annoying for the middle lane is that Chen with the Smoker C will come through with the Bane Elemental, and with EG not having any wards to protect the Lone Druid, I mean, it's just going to be very difficult for a Lone Druid to actually escape, because in the early levels, the Lone Druid is quite gankable. Until he hits at level 6, then he becomes really, really annoying to gank, but expect Quantic to make their moves sooner rather than later to try to shut down JO ASAP. And even since he's going to be playing bottom lane, look for him to not maybe even pick up a bottle. He might just go super glass cannon oriented, maybe go for phase boots into drums and Desolator, or treads into drums into Desolator. Something really, really aggressive that can allow him to do as much mid-game potential as possible. And Desolator, in conjunction with Broodmother, can push down towers very, very easily, so I expect a Desolator rush by Demon, but I don't know, he might have different ideas. You know, Bambo still yet to place that Sentry Ward. He is going to hit level 2, as Silent is farming relatively well. You can see Bambo has not yet picked up a last hit, as here comes Chen on the approach. Nightmare will be used to hold Broodmother in place, as Chen doesn't really have the best creep to hold Bambo in place either, as here comes the Tornado. It will still be enough damage to likely kill out Bambo, and Silent does pick up the first blood. Very nicely done by Quantic, as they manage to take a nice advantage, and Bambo has not even hit level 2, so a really solid gank. I mean, they did place a second Sentry Ward, but killing out the Broodmother is so important. Giving it the first blood towards Silent will allow him to pick up a very fast phase boots, and that will just make him so incredibly mobile that he can pretty much deal with EG's immobile heroes. I mean, the most mobile hero on the side of EG is, I guess, Templar, Assassin, and Broodmother, and you can see they can be caught out quite easily by a Lifestealer combination. You know, Jail, interesting enough, gonna go into the jungle, so seems like Funzy is having a reasonably good time. He is gonna clear up his stack camp, but I don't know if this bodes very well for EG, since I think Lone Druid should theoretically have a reasonable time against OD, but it seems like he has abandoned the lane for a little bit, and it's allowing Funzy to get a lot of free experience in the laning phase, where he might not be able to do. And JL gonna resummon another bear, try to get it back up to full HP. Does not want to give up free gold to Funzy if he really can help it. And Funzy, I guess the extra bit of regen did help him out quite a bit, and JL just staying super far back. Does not want to get experience denied, and that base and speed of OD allows him to be a lot more fast than well, a lot more fast isn't correct grammar, but he's allowed to juke up against Lone Druid a bit more effectively than other heroes. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised that JL already retreated to the jungle, and you can see OD has taken a significant lane advantage just from that small maneuver by JL. Maybe Funzy was controlling lane very, very well before JL retreated into the jungle, and that might force JL into the jungle, but I don't know, I feel like this matchup shouldn't be so heavily in OD's favor in the early levels. You know, Bambo gonna pop the Clarity. He was driven back successfully by Quantic, but he will be able to pick up quite a bit of experience, and he is hidden safely from underneath the wrath of the Sentry Ward, and Silent can't really harass Bambo out of the lane, so Bambo will pick up a lot of experience, but keep in mind, EG, they want to win in the early stages of the mid-game, since Broodmother doesn't really scale all too well, because their Spiderlings just become a lot less powerful. So, with Bambo not picking up that much farm, this could quite hurt EG's mid-game potential, and it's going to be up to Demon to really provide a spark in the early stages of the mid-game, and we're going to see if he has that impact. You know, Sakshika has hit level 3, has picked up the boot speed, so he's actually going to be very difficult to hunt down. EG, they're going to rotate their supports to try to help out Bambo on the top lane, as Lifestealer taking up a lot of experience. He is below half HP, has the phase boots, but should be able to escape, as those phase boots make him very, very quick indeed. And You can see EG positioning themselves right outside the Quantic Center, but Beatas will get himself revealed. I think the smoke did time out, and Fear, he is going to be spotted by the siege unit. So now Quantic are fully aware, but still, Quantic have a jungler. I think they're pretty okay just having two of their heroes get some experience as long as Chen gets uninterrupted free farm, as Golbak is doing just that. You know, it seems like Jo has been able to get himself back in the lane. The unfortunate thing for Jo is that it's going to be actually very difficult for him to get enough mana to morph into tree form. And without true form, he's actually going to be pretty easy to gank once Chen does pick up another smoke and does go in for a gank. But it seems like Chen just going to get himself a boot speed. No, he does have another smoke as well. So Mei's going to go for a mid lane gank sooner rather than later, since Lone Druid can't really morph to true form. But Funzy, not getting very lucky with this procs, is actually out of mana, so that's going to buy a lot of time for JO to escape from the setup of Quantic if a mid lane gank were to break out. You know, Demon, now level 6, can deal with the puck pretty well in a 1v1 matchup, but still, the supports of EG are going to be very experienced starved. I mean, they did pull quite a bit, and they have been able to hit level 3, but you can see the Spiderlings just going to pull the creeps as well. Going to muck up Quantic's potential neutral pulls, and they should be able to nuke down his creep waves. And without too much burst damage, these spiders will actually survive a decent amount of time, and that's why I think EG did decide to go for the Broodmother choice, because again, Quantic don't really have the best anti-push options. But a Shockwave will give Chen 1 or 2 Spiderlings, and he is a level 4.5. Meanwhile, the supports of EG just not going to get much experience in this laning phase whatsoever. You know, Funzy, he is level 6, and JO's just going to have to back off. He doesn't know for sure if he scaled up the Astral or the Sandy's Eclipse or not, so he doesn't want to take too much harassment, otherwise he could potentially be nuked down in Sandy's Eclipse range. You know, Broodmother was able to pick up a kill on Silent. Didn't really see how that happened. My bad. So we're going to see how that happened. Looks like Bambo telekinesis Illuminate, as well as the spiders were enough, so well-coordinated gank, or well-coordinated kill being set up by EG supports. And that is definitely going to help him out quite a bit, since Silent was just getting way too farmed, and with the first blood had a lot of gold in his back pocket. You know, Illuminate gonna burst down the creep waves, and now Chen could potentially be in lot trouble, but Bambo gonna get himself nightmared. It's gonna be dispelled by Beatas, but still, the spiders are gonna hunt down Golbak. Golbak has boot speed. He should be able to escape, although, yeah, spiders are gonna back off appropriately. You know, the bear gonna give up 300 gold towards the OD, and that is definitely not what Jay wanted, but he couldn't resummon the bear because he didn't have enough mana, and the bear, of course, does have that 3-second grace time where if you get hit, you can't resummon it. So that is going to be a huge victory for Funzy, and that is going to be enough for Jao to back up to the fountain. He just had no mana to contest the OD, and even though I think Lone Druid is one of the better heroes to deal with OD, it seems like Funzy has just really mastered OD in the middle lane, and he has really taken a firm grasp of this early game, and with EG not ganking him, this OD will do a lot of damage, and we're going to have to see how EG can combat this OD once he actually starts being involved in teamfight scenarios. You know, fortunately for EG, Demon is the most farmed hero on the map, has picked up the treads, very standard build. You need the tread switch to get yourself as much mana as possible, as Meow Lifesteal are going to get lifted up and gonna get illuminated as well, but Silent gonna be chased down by spiders, but he used the invest to get himself up to a reasonable amount of HP, but Silent's taking a lot of spider harassment, gonna pop the rage, as Bambo might be in a bit of trouble, but there isn't any detection from Quantic to spot out Bambo at this current point, and Silent still being hunted by these spiders. He is gonna get outside the vision range, but Bambo gonna pop another web. Silent try to juke it as best he possibly can, but Silent's still taking way too much damage to spider lights. Are they gonna time out? No, they are still going to work on Silent. He is gonna be able to survive for now, as Bambo does not have enough mana. Nice rage dodge by Silent to escape the wrath of Illuminate, and he will be sent home. Very nicely done by Golbak as well as Quantic to really get themselves out of a dangerous situation. Funzy in the middle lane has not picked up that point in Sandy's Eclipse, so he's going to consistently drain the mana of Jo. I'm a bit surprised Jo has not yet morphed into true form. I guess he wants to have the range in order to sort of drive Funzy back with the extra bit of damage if he is in a bit of trouble. But meanwhile, Funzy is getting way too farmed. Is he going to go for the Mega Rush like he did in the previous game, or will he go for something a bit more aggressive as on the bottom lane? Silent actually teleported to try to help out Puck pick up a gank on Demon. Demon actually breaks the coil and breaks his meld. Quantic didn't have any detection. No, they used the dust, so Demon was most likely screwed either way. So good gank by Quantic, being set up by the puck. A good rotation by San to pick up a nice kill. It seems like EG being driven onto the back foot for the most part. And it's very unfortunate for Jail. He's not getting any entangle procs onto the OD, and that is really limiting his lane control by a tremendous degree.
Is under attack.
Bambo will initiate onto fucking Mad, just gonna harass him away for the most part. But can't really do too much. The spiders are going to work on this tier 1. This tier 1 will crumble. And this is what EG desperately needs. They need to get gold as well as towers.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But Golbat getting very close to level 6, so that is going to make OD pretty much ungankable at this stage. And Silent going to go for the armlet rush. Can potentially kill off creeps very, very easily. But do Quantic have enough to stop this push coming in from Sexy Rambo? That remains to be seen, as he is still continuing to farm up really, really fast. We're going to have to see if he goes for an Orchid, if he goes for a BKB rush. I think both would be suitable options, but having a fast Orchid can limit OD as well as Puck's potential by a great degree. So I'd favor the Orchid slightly, but I mean, you definitely can't say no to a BKB rush in this game up against so much magical damage on the side of Quantic.
Radiant's middle tower
Demon has picked up the drums. We'll see if he goes for Dagger or Desolator. I really advocate Demon getting just as much damage as possible. Just rely on the refraction since Quantic doesn't have much damage over time, so that refraction actually can protect him quite admirably up against damage on the side of Quantic. As the orb will be popped, Sakshika doesn't have any way to escape, but here comes the dust. Bambo is most certainly going to be caught as the brain sap will be applied to Sexy Bambo. He's trying to juke into the trees, but will die to a Dream Coil being popped by Sakshika. A bit unnecessary, but I guess Sakshika really wanted the kill to try to get up his Blink Dagger ASAP, and I'm sure Quantic won't really mind Puck taking that kill in the end, since Puck does want to have that dagger up ASAP, like I mentioned. Funzy getting himself entangled, just shrugging off that damage. He has the mechanism, so now he has a lot of armor, and the Dire gonna have their tier 1 tower on the bottom lane threatened. But I don't know if they're in any rush to defend this. They're just gonna take their time, farm up. They know they have the better late game, and they're gonna use that to their advantage. But still, giving away free towers is definitely what EG wants, as they need as much gold as possible. They need to get the BKBs and Desolators online ASAP in order to fight Quantic before Quantic gets way too out of hand. Quantic gonna rotate in with the smoke to see EG currently have no knowledge. His Sphere is definitely gonna die, to make no bones about it. Demon gonna charge in, trying to save his ally. Gonna get popped the trap, and Demon gonna charge back in very bravely. But in the end, could not help out his friend. I thought Demon would have been in a bit of trouble, but Puck didn't have the Dream Coil because he did use it previously on the top lane to kill off Sexy Rambo. If there was a Dream Coil, Demon would most likely have been screwed, but there wasn't, as Lume gonna fly in, but Funzy just way too tank, as not even use the mecha. The orb just penetrating through that Spirit Bear armor just makes it really difficult for Jo to get in position to kill off that OD, and this OD is going to become a huge problem very, very soon. Chen has just finished the Arcane Boots. I don't think he has anything on the courier. He does not. Bane has Smoke of Deceit. It is now level 6, so he can have the Fiend's Grip. Demon, is he going to go for the dagger? Demon is one of those Templar assassins who likes the dagger, but up against an OD who drains your mana, I think dagger might be a bit too costly to use very effectively.
Bottom tower is under attack.
But I don't know. This is Demon. He does like to stick with his item choices. This is Sashka. Gonna have himself a Lifestealer in his back pocket as he's looking for Demon, but Demon did probably see the rotation by Puck, or he knows that a lot of Quantic heroes are missing, so he's gonna back up appropriately. But still, this OD is just becoming such a problem for EG, and they're not really picking up any fast BKBs to deal with the OD's damage. As there will be a gank attempt. Keeper Light will get isolated immediately, as Fear did manage to last imprisonment. Very decent spell to steal, all things considered, but San, he's going to take a lot of damage. He's already used Rage. He's going to pop the Rage actually right now. Mechanism will be used as well. Demon going to have his Refraction completely negated, as Chen going to pick up Bambo on the top lane with the help of the Bane Elemental. Looks like Funzy going to drop the Status Eclipse's Fear being driven away. Jo going to come in, trying to get some entangles. We'll get entangled, but Demon will be driven away as well. The slow just hurting Demon by such a great degree, but Demon is not going to be detected. A bit of a mistake for Quantic not packing any detection. Made that out of Puck, but Demon is going to hide away very safely. But can EG actually protect their friend? That remains to be seen. And we are going to see the dust being picked up. Demon will pop the fraction, looking to escape, should be able to escape as he is going to pop the trap to cover himself. And B is going to channel the limit, but Silent going to come in. Does he have enough levels of moves to get off the slow? He is going to catch up with Beatus, and Beatus is most likely going to be screwed. And he's a couple more attacks swimming the end of the Horseman. The trap just going to be popped a little bit too late, and Quantic taking a significant lead. As keep in mind, during that whole engagement, Bambo was isolated on the top lane by Bane Elemental as well as Chen. And two supports for an offlaner, especially a farm-dependent offlaner like Broodmother, is just going to be very, very costly for EG to deal with at this stage in the game. You know, Jo trying to get as much sort of battle-ready items up. Gonna go for the Maelstrom rather than going for the Radiance Rush. I think he recognized that Radiance would just be picked up way too late. You know, Maelstrom is a lot more cost efficient and can potentially do a lot more damage if you manage to get enough procs off. The Quantic will muscle down the Roshan. They're gonna give it to Funzy likely, as yes, Funzy indeed will pick up that Aegis of the Immortal. You know, Sakshka still far away from the dagger. Has not had the best game in terms of farm, but he was an off-lane puck, and he still had a reasonable impact nonetheless. As Sakshka actually miscalculating, I think he meant to jaunt into silence, and Bambo will kill off this tower in the end, so good push by EG, but still, I've got to imagine they are lacking quite far behind in terms of experience, and I think Quantic probably are relatively even in terms of gold. While EG only 1k advantage, it's going to go up a bit once this gold is calculated from this top tower. But still, EG killing off 3 towers, meanwhile Quantic have yet to kill off 1. With only a 1k advantage, EG is definitely not in a good position as this game is progressing. You know, Damon did decide to go for the dagger. I don't know if I like this. I think a fast BKB or fast Desolator would help him out a lot better. Especially against OD, drains so much of your mana engagements. Maybe he thinks he can isolate the Chen and negate a lot of heal, but we're going to have to see if that is an effective strategy in this game. I feel like Quantic have a lot of defense measures to deal with the Blinking TA in general. They have Astral Imprisonment, they have Bane Elemental Nightmare, they have Chen to send people back. They have Infest on Lifesteal, they have Puck who can escape from any circumstance. I mean, the only person who can feasibly not be protected that well is the Chen if he were to get solo ganked, but that's pretty much it. You know, Bambo's still holding to gold. I think he's probably debating whether he should go for BKB or Orchid, but instead he's going to go for Yasha, so he wants to go for a bit more damage. And I think he recognized that EG cannot currently win the game, especially with the Aegis up on the EG, so he's going to go for a bit more late game oriented build. And at this rate, he will get a later BK, which will prove to be very useful, since he will have a lot of charges once OD does become very powerful. But still, OD is becoming a huge problem. He has the ultimate orb up already, and Quantic gonna rotate in with the supports. They most likely have detection, and Bambo gonna be on trouble. Actually, Bane picks up a very fast gem, and Bambo, he's gonna have to scurry on out of there if he wants to survive. But this top tower will likely get pressured by Quantic as their full arsenal, or most of their arsenal, is here. But Funzy just continue to stay in the middle lane, and this is what OD wants to do. He just never wants to leave the lane unless he really has to, and Funzy has just been playing that to a T in this game. You know, Bambo probably just spotted out the gem on Bane Elemental. Actually, Bane doing a nice job not yet revealing himself. The webs themselves don't grant that much vision. So, fucking Mad gonna teleport himself to the bot lane, trying to set the gank with Silent most likely. And Silent does have the armlet finished, and we'll see if Demon's gonna be in launch. Demon does have the dagger as well as a haste rune, so the chain stones by Quantic gonna have to be perfect in order to kill off Demon. So I've got to imagine Demon will be okay in this very, very terrible position. His Fear gonna get the telekinesis off. Will Demon initiate onto Bane Elemental? No, he decides against it in the end. A smart maneuver. I mean, Lone Druid just continuously getting his bear harassed by these astral orbs, just negating a lot of the natural tankiness of the bear. I mean, the bear has a reasonable armor value in these orbs because they do pure damage, just completely rips through it very, very easily, and there's nothing JL can do about it. Meanwhile, Demon gonna get himself a double damage rune, but unfortunately Roshan was already taken by Quantic, so I don't think Demon can actually do anything with this Aegis, or with this double damage rune. And I'm not too sure what Ichi can do. I think they've just gotta farm up long enough until they get all BKBs, and once they get that, they can pretty much overpower Quantic. But still, they're gonna have to turtle very, very hard, because Quantic are in a very, very strong position. And And I'm a bit surprised Quantic are playing so passively, but we are going to see a rotation by Lifesteal, as I think they finally want to kill off this tower. Because once they kill off this tower, it'll just be a longer path for Broodmother in general to push down these ways and make her way towards this tier 3 tower up on the top lane. So pushing down the top tower going to be very useful since Broodmother does have weapons
Dire's
peppered
bottom
all over the
tower
map.
is under attack.
And with Broodmother's map control severely limited, that is going to make pushing in
Dire's
unopposed a lot more
structures are
difficult.
fortified. Dire's middle
You know,
tower
Dire gonna
is under
fortify their
attack.
middle structures. Jao just gonna go to work,
Radiant's top
and
tower
Jao
is
not
under
using his
attack.
bear. He's gonna micro it away, try to prevent some tower acid, but all the while, the top tower is getting pushed. It looks like it will be a tower trade as Demon gonna activate the double danger, and this might be the spark engagement, but Dreamhack gonna get 3 people. Funzy gonna come in with the Status Eclipse. His Phoenix Grip will be challenged on Demon. Demon is most likely gonna die. He is gonna be the first one to die. Bambo gonna get killed off as well as double buyouts coming in for EG. They desperately want to get themselves back into this engagement as Jao is now here. Can he pick up a kill? Seems like EG have yet to pick up a kill during this buyback onside as Bambo gonna die once again. Keep in mind he already used the buyback, and Demon is gonna get himself on moves. But Phoenix Grip gonna be challenged by Fear. He did manage to steal it from the Bane Elemental. Demon will likely kill off Silent as the Illuminate gonna fly, and Astral Imprison gonna hold Demon in place for now. But Quantic still at reasonably healthy HP. Demon gonna blink on ahead, gonna kill off Chen, might pick up a kill on Puck. This will turn around for EG. It seems like the refraction has now been fully drained. Demon might end up dying another time. Can he blink away to safety? He will, so that orb, or the Astral Imprison, actually helping out Demon in the end. But still a good engagement being taken by Quantic. They did do the Lester as well as the Chen, but they forced double buybacks on the Templar SS and also the Broodmother, and they got the tier 1 tower. Very much decisive victory for Quantic. And I don't anticipate this going much better for EG as this game progresses until EG does manage to get the BKBs online. And you can see Templar Assassin as well as Broodmother very, very far away from finishing those items. And until they do, Quantic just going to keep steamrolling these fights, so EG are in a very, very difficult position. Quantic going to respond immediately by pressuring the tower, and EG knows if they lose the tower in the bottom tower, they won't have any buyouts, so they will likely lose the tier 2 as well, so I don't think they're going to even bother to defend this tower.
Radiant's bottom
You know,
tower is
Puck has
under
picked up
attack.
his own Blink Dire. Fucking Man has a VIP booster just to boost up his HP. I mean, he will try to build himself up to Rod Magus, but it seems like Fucking Man just trying to get as much utility from his items as possible, get as much HP, and try to help out his team with the gem. Meow EG, they're going to try to find Chen. They will be able to find Chen. Can they blink in? Yes, Fear does have the dagger online, and they will be able to kill off Golbak. Here comes Illuminate as Sakshi going to blink in with the Infest. Golbak should be okay for now. Vita is going to break the call as the Infest Lifesteal are going to come in. Going to try to kill off Fear. Fear is going to get open wounds. He does not have the dagger. It was just about to come off cooldown, but just a moment too slow for Fear's liking, and Fear will die that gank. Couldn't have gone worse for EG as they did lose 2 heroes in the end. I mean, they were 2 support heroes, but those heroes being lost definitely not going to help out EG, as they're going to lose another tier 1 tower in the process. And you can see EG's control over this game is slipping by the second. And they can't really do anything to stop Quantic in this relentless mid-game assault.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now Jao. He didn't actually go for Maelstrom, he went back into minus. I guess he wants to get the Radiance after all. May disable the Puck Blink Dagger, but looks like he's being a bit greedy with the spell. We'll see if greed is good as Fear gonna get himself hexed up. ODU already with the hex, and this is just gonna be very, very bad news, to say the least, for EG, as now Funzy will just be able to do whatever he wants with the mechanism as well as hex in place. And EG, the only thing they can do is split push in multiple lanes. They can't really hope to defend this tier 2 middle. And Quantic going to take a huge lead, and Roshan will respawn relatively soon.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
As it's going to spawn in about 2.5 minutes, well 2 minutes, as the Roshan countdown is going to tick in as soon as I try to make a fool of myself. But Quantic, they've taken so much map control, they're going to take a huge experience as well as gold lead. The gold lead not really catching up as quickly as I'd hoped, but the experience advantage heavily in favor of Quantic, and they're going to take control of EG's jungle, further eliminating their farming potential. And you can see EG forced into a very, very bad situation. They're constantly forced to group up, and that's going to eliminate their experience growth severely. But EG, they're going to smoke themselves up. We'll see if they can get initiation up and try to kill off one hero. And Demon, I'm not too sure what item he'll go for. He might go for BKB or Death Slayer, but I think this Blink Dagger not really helping him out in this game. I've got to think he will go for the BKB next, especially with the Hex up on the OD. That would just be way too much lockdown to hold TA in place. And even though there is a Bane who doesn't really care about BKB, you still got to protect yourself up against OD with that really, really nice item slot that Funzy has managed to build himself up towards. You know, EG hiding themselves. Smoke is going to get dispelled now. Quantic are fully aware of EG's position because of this very, very nicely placed Doomsday reward. And Golbak as well as fucking mad, gonna farm the jungle. Actually, Golbak getting very close to picking up at a Aghanim Scepter on Chen. Such an early time for Chen. I mean, Aghanim Scepter Chen is really, really strong because it's a 30-second cooldown on the global heal. But Chen oftentimes does not have the enough mana to sustain himself for multiple heals. But with the Arcane Boots up on him and the Essence Aura, he could potentially get lucky enough to get multiple heals off in a very, very short amount of time. And if that's the case, I really don't see anything that can stop Quantic in an engagement. You know, Bambo will break the invisibility, but the dust is going to be popped. Bambo trying to scurry on out of there. Silent going to go to work. Bambo should be okay. I can't imagine Silent will be able to kill off Sexy Bambo. And Silent recognizes the danger he's in. He's going to try to teleport himself out to safety, but Fear going to come in with a telekinesis. Infest will go down onto the range creep, but he's going to immediately get killed off. Silent going to return fire up onto Bambo. Bambo is actually out of mana as here comes Demon with the Blink Dagger, trying to do as much damage as possible. Lester going to escape for now. Demon going to break the coil. Sakshka going to defend his ally as best he can, but Demon, he is going to spout Silent. Silent's going to be in trouble. Hand of God will be applied as Silent trying to juke as long as possible. Going to try to heal himself up from the Centaurs. And Demon just playing passively. He knows that if he were to go back in and re-engage, he could potentially be in lot of trouble because Funty was making his pursuit very, very soon. So good response by EG in the end. They prevented a kill, but still a neutral engage and not going to help him out as Roshan has spawned. Chen has gotten himself into position to start doing some early damage to this Roshan. Neon Golbak has now finished the Aghanim Scepter. For him to apply Hand of God, he is going to do that, and he did get the Essence Aura proc, so he is going to have full mana consistently, and he did just use that heal up Silent as well as these creeps. And Demon going to try to get the Aegis. TA does manage to snatch up the Aegis, but he's immediately going to lose it, and his Blink Dagger will still be on cooldown, so in the end, that might prevent Quantic from pushing in, but that's all it's going to accomplish in this game for EG. I mean, it is still difficult for Quantic to break up the base up against Keeper Light, especially with their Aegis, so I think Quantic will just farm up and just push in when they feel a bit more comfortable. Maybe once they pick up an item like a Basher and AC up on the Lifestealer, or maybe get a Shiva's Guard up on the OD. Actually, they're just going to push in middle, seeing that Demon's down, and we'll see if this does actually work out for the better. You know, EG forced into a very, very defensive posture. Quantic, if the push doesn't work out in the first couple of seconds, they will have to retreat immediately since Broodmother is one of those heroes who can potentially take a Rex if you do not attend to her. But Broodmother seemingly not pushing in as fast as EG would hope, and the tier 3 will get sieged by Quantic. Mechanism already going to be used, and Golbak still has a multiple number of Hand of Gods. Won't get the proc this time, but he's going to heal up all his allies as Meow Fear going to blink in, does steal the Rage. Seems like the bear going to go to work, and Quantic should back up. Funzy going to give him some tangle. Demon blinks in with a huge amount of damage. We'll be able to kill off the OD in the end, and all the while Bambo going to go to work on this tier 3 tower. Seems like Quantic can't retreat accordingly. Can they actually get in position to defend their tier 3? They're finally going to fortify their structures, but Quantic just cannot teleport since Dream Coil will be applied to Golbak. He is going to break it, and Leicester just not in position to defend. It seems like Puck is there. He will be able to stop the push for now with the help of Bane, but EG picking up a couple heroes on the retreat of Quantic, definitely capitalizing on Quantic's mistakes as Dire going to lose their courier. They might end up losing their tier 3 as well, as these Spires just not able to do enough damage in the end. And Bambo, he's toying with the idea of re-engaging. Without the OD, seems like EG gonna get themselves right back in the game. They're gonna kill off the middle tower, and JO's finished 3, so that bear actually doing a huge amount of damage. So what a turnaround for EG as they have managed to get themselves right back into the game. They're gonna probably switch their attention to the top lane. At least that's what I do, since the tier 3 has already been sieged down. But no, they're going to actually attack the tier 3 in the middle lane as Fiend's Grip will be challenged. The Demon's going to get immediately cancelled by Fear. Sakshi going to blink in with the Winter Grip, but he's going to get immediately stunned up. Rubik going to be the first one to die for EG as Silent going to be raged up, but he did get immediately tangled. Hand of God will be popped. Savings Clip's going to be used as well. And the Hex by Funzy going to help secure the TA kill. Jail's getting a lot of trouble. Jail's most certainly going to die, trying to teleport himself out to safety. Will just die the onslaught of damage. And I think EG, they should turn their attention towards the top barracks. I mean, the creep wave was already pushed out. I don't know why they decided to do so much damage to the tier 3, but the tier 3 has 25 armor, meanwhile the barracks have 15 armor. If EG just applied the damage to the top lane, they would have most certainly taken down these melee barracks. Maybe they wanted a bit of extra team gold for that tier 3 kill. Maybe they want to get an easier siege onto the middle lane once that tier 3 is dead, but in the end, I think that decision making cost EG a lot of momentum, and now they're back in deficit, as Quantic have been able to take themselves a huge advantage. But still, EG is showing that they have a lot of fight in them. The gold graph, relatively even the experience graph, well, that's a different matter entirely, isn't it? But Bambo now has the BKB. The unfortunate thing is that OD is so tanky with the Shiva's guard online. Will just be next to impossible to bring down, despite Bambo having the BKB that can negate a lot of the Astral Imprisonment damage, or the Arcane Orb damage. You know, albeit it is with the mechanism, just not able to find any farm fear. Picked up a Ghost Scepter. Still, will that be enough? That remains to be seen. BKB was fished on Demon. He now has a 10-second BKB charge. We'll try to go back into a Desolator, I've got to imagine. But it might just simply not be enough. Quantic just getting so much farm. AC will be the next choice by Lifestar, as he's already finished the S and Y. And Bale Mantle did pick up a dagger. This Bane is actually very, very farm. Level 14. That Fiend Script actually does a huge amount of damage, and Sakshka gonna drive Bambo away for now. Bane would potentially come in with a Fiend Script, but seems like, oh, the blink forward by fucking Mad will be spied in the end, so they won't be able to kill off the Broodmother.
Dire's
And EG
bottom
using
tower
this
is
opportunity
under
to push
attack.
the other lanes, and this is exactly what EG needs to do. They know Quantic don't really have the best anti-push, so they just need to keep Quantic from grouping up and pushing it, otherwise EG could potentially lose the game from that single push. You know, the courier gonna respawn. It didn't have any items on it. Funzy gonna get his ship and start up relatively soon. The Aegis is still a long ways from respawning. But Sakshka now has his own Scythe of Ice, and that's just gonna be a lot of lockdown. Sure, they have double BKBs up, but the bear won't build in towards a BKB, and he's just gonna be hexed up over and over again. He's gonna try to make his way towards an AC. It won't really help against OD, but it will help against the Lifestar as well as Puck. And also to push down towers, it'll be very much appreciated. And of course the minus armor, gonna be very useful, but still, up against the OD, that OD can kill the bear in a matter of moments if you manage to get free reign in terms of attacking the Spare Bear. You know, the Spider Link's starting to become fodder. They're just not tanky enough, and you can see OD just going to work. Keep in mind that Arcane Orb just doing additional damage, 615 damage, because it is a summon unit. As Bear has the Infest Bomb, Fear gonna pop out with a Infest. Won't be able to get it off. And meanwhile, Quantic will be there. Fucking Mad gonna flick himself ahead. Does manage to get the Nightmare off to beat us, and Demons just says, well, nothing I can do there, buddy. Gonna leave you behind for the Wolves. Chen picks up the last hit with the Test of Faith. I mean, Quantic gonna try to pick up one of the last tier 2s on the side of EG's map, but EG, they're gonna potentially pressure the tier 3 on the top lane. Quantic should be able to get back. They have enough teleports, and you can see Bane actually teleporting himself right back to base, but the Infest was broken. I don't know if Bane canceled the teleport consciously or if Infest breaks the TP. I've got to imagine that Bane canceled the TP consciously, as maybe anticipate EG rotating to support this tier 2 on the bot lane, and Quantic gonna back off instead of going in. Chen actually getting pretty farmed. Is this gonna be a Refresh Orb Hand of God Chen? That would be something else, as that would be so much healing that it would actually be impossible for EG to kill anybody on side of Quantic. Should a Refresh Orb be the option for Chen, but I mean, he could potentially go for a Linked Sphere, or hey, Battle Fury, why the fuck not? You know, Leicester gonna burst out, gonna just melt those spires into oblivion. San picking up so much gold, actually gonna finish his AC relatively soon, in about 150 gold. And meanwhile, the engagement will break out in the Roshan area. Golbak taking a lot of damage, but will apply the Hand of God. The bear just simply not doing enough, as Rubik gonna get bursted down by Saints. Jail gonna get himself hexed up, as well as Shivas. And Jail will be the next one to fall. Demon trying to go in for Golbak. Golbak will die. One more hit will spell the end of the Chen, but Chen for 2 teammates is simply not going to be worth it as San trying to chase down Demon. Demon can blink away to safety. He's not taking any damage as open wounds will be applied. Demon will blink away to safety. And he is going to be recalled home by Keeper Light, but Bambo going to die on the top lane. It was all a diversion to try to kill off these top barracks. But simply not enough for EG as they didn't have the damage necessary to kill off these barracks. And now EG are in a lot of trouble because Quantic are going to get a lot of anti-push going, going to control the keep equilibrium, and Demon and his EG friends have just gotten themselves into a severe deficit because Quantic have picked up a lot of gold as well as a lot of experience from those kills. And all I got for that was a frickin' Chen kill. Definitely should go on a t-shirt for EG. You know, OD gonna go back and towards that BKB. I mean, he doesn't really need it, but still, better be safe rather than sorry. And Fear could potentially steal something like a Dream Coil or Fiends, or I guess something else. Maybe a Waning Rift to shut down the OD. You know, Sakshika picks up a dag and try and do as much damage as possible. And EG, their only option is just to keep split pushing because they really can't take Quantic in a 5v5 scenario. As Silent perhaps will get initiated on, taking a bit of Radiant's burn damage. But Jao, still far away from finishing an AC, needs the Hyperstone as well as the Chainmail and the Recipe, and that is going to be at least 2,000 gold away. You know, Demon gonna get himself recalled, gonna farm multiple lanes, actually getting himself recalled back to base. He's gonna pick up a Chrysalis, so Demon actually hurts quite a bit, but the armor levels on the side of Quantic just really negate a large portion of Templar Assassin's DPS at this late stage in the game. If you look at the goal graph, it's gonna spiral even more in favor of Quantic, and the only reason why EG is keeping up so well is that they've been able to split push relatively effectively. But slowly but surely, Quantic gonna just be able to kill off more creeps and limit more portion of EG's map, and EG, I don't know how they can... Quantic have to make a really gargantuan mistake in order for them to lose this game. I mean, Bambo can still scale pretty hard, but it's just going to be very difficult as he's just going to finish Meta Style. And Meta Style, it helps you push, it helps you survive. Its DPS increases... It's relatively significant, but it's nowhere near comparable to something like a Butterfly or a Manta. And the item differential, I mean, while Bambo's going to pick up a Manta Style, San going to kill off one hero with the help of Sakshika with an AC as Sakshika going to get something stolen from Hand of God will be applied, going to heal up the side of EG as Jao is just getting worked by San. He will be the next one to drop, and Jao, I don't know if he has enough for back, he does. The bear is getting up as Demon gonna go to work on fucking Mad. Meanwhile, Mildred will buy back Bambo, taking a lot of damage as Demon will go in trying to kill off Sakshika, but he's gonna dodge the Meld Strike. Nicely done by the puck as San's gonna go right back in. Meanwhile, OD has arrived to the party saying the fun is over. San gonna kill off Demon. And now EG in a boatload of trouble, and you can see Bambo immediately trying to make his way towards that top lane on the minimap, knowing that he can split push it up. But Sakshika just gonna be there. He has Boots Child, so he can potentially get back towards his team if he really needs to. So this tower push, or these racks push, will be defended for now. I mean, last time Quantic did have a bit of trouble breaking EG space, but now, without the TA, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And keep in mind, Jao only has one bear, so if this bear dies, Jao is going to lose a lot of fighting potential. So he's going to have to be very careful in how he micros his bear. Fear going to blink in, going to get the Hand of God forced by Quantic, as Sands Clips will be popped. It's going to immediately kill off Fear in one fell swoop. And Nightmare Transference will occur, and it seems like Quantic will take the first barracks of the game. Meanwhile, on the top lane, it seems like there is a bit of a skirmish from Bane and Puck versus Bambo's Broodlings. But Quantic 3v3, just going to kill off these middle barracks relatively easy. Puck going to actually rotate himself in, and it seems like Quantic just want to end the game. They don't really care if Bambo kills off the top barracks. They know they're at their strongest. Actually, they're going to pop Hand of God, and looks like they are going to retreat in the end. Demon has finally respawned. We'll see if EG can re-engage, as Bane going to spot out Bambo on the top lane, and Quantic going to back off instead of trying to seal the deal. Fiend Script going to be applied by the Balan Auto, and Fiend Script actually does so much damage. Level 16 will just be not enough, as San furiously open wounding some illusions. And Bambo will be able to escape safely, but still, EG definitely very much down. They're not completely out of it, but one more punch might spell a KO for EG in this game.
healing hand.
You know, fight gonna break out while I was trying to take a drink of water. Keep the Light was able to kill off Golblack. You know, Funzy gonna pop the Chivis Guard, but how can you actually kill Funzy at this stage? It's so hard. Funzy just pumping out the DPS with the Arcane Orbs, as Bambo is getting very close to killing off Sakshka, but the Hex has been applied to Bambo since the BKB did wear off Bambo, taking a lot of damage. Bambo will escape for now, as Sakshka gonna be in a lot of trouble. Looks like EG making a bit of recovery. They still have their strongest DPS heroes alive, although Demon is very low into his HP. Jail gonna get trapped, gonna take a lot of damage from the Leicester, who does do a heck of a ton of damage with the AC, as well as SMI gonna chase down Jail, and Jail will die. Bambo gonna be driven away, as well as the Dagon gonna help secure the kill, as OD does pick up a huge streak. And I think that one last gasp of effort was all EG could muster up in the end. I mean, EG now, oh my god, 35k experience advantage. And I don't usually push too much stock in terms of experience advantage past the 30-minute mark, but 35k experience advantage, well, that's another level of farmed on the side of Quantic. In the end, EG just simply don't have the items necessary to deal with Quantic. The early game pressure was just simply not sufficient, and Quantic gonna be very much in control of this game. 5k gold up in the Leicester, he can finish the Basher and start making his way towards the Abyssal Blade. Meanwhile, Quantic just slow playing at Roshan will respawn very, very later on, but Quantic, I think they sense blood in the water. They're gonna try to end the game ASAP. And JO is going to respawn, but I don't know if that'll be enough. The experience advantage is simply too much, as there are just way too many levels up on the side of Quantic, as well as way too many items, that it's just going to be very difficult for Quantic to lose the next upcoming engagement. It's actually going to blink in. Will spot Demon, will force the BKB, and you didn't have the Leicester infested inside him because Leicester is actually up on the top lane. And that is going to mean another push by Quantic, trying to kill off these top towers, and they will be able to do so very, very easily.
Radiant's top tower has
And
fallen.
EG, Puck is going to teleport himself back in towards his teammates. They will be able to get a very solid initiation, as Sakshka just pumping out the DPS with his orbs.
Radiant's top
Trap's
tower
going to be
is under
applied,
attack.
as Leicester was able to pick up a kill. It looks like he just charged in and was able to muscle down Beatus, as Beatus is going to buy back, recognizing this is the crucial defense. Shiva's Guard will be applied. Demon taking a lot of damage, but simply just not enough. The Fiend's Grip, as well as Science Cup, is just going to absolutely decimate Demon. And I think Quantic have just won themselves game one. GG's called by Jail, and EG knows when they are beaten, as Quantic took a decisive victory in this game one of this best of 3 series. I think Quantic both outplayed as well as outpicked EG in this game, and EG just really had a bit of momentum, but ultimately didn't really have the heroes that could capitalize on that momentum, and it cost them dearly. So Quantic going to be one game away from trying to get themselves a spot into Dreamhack Summer Grand Finals. Meanwhile, EG one game away from being knocked out. We'll see if they can recover in game 2, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.